we always still did all of those things, so I still had a life, and I think that allowed me to still have that passion and that drive to still continue to do it, because I didn't just shut everything off and focus on that. I still had everything else going on around me. That makes sense. Anybody back there? Yes. Will I pose? Crazy things. You're going to open your back up, let your arms hang to your sides. It depends. She has toes pointed in or out. Everyone's body is different. My legs are kind of my downfall. You know, I work them hard. I do everything possible to try to get them fuller and bigger, but I have to try to create an illusion of them being a little bit bigger. Some women's legs are way overpowering over your upper body. So every which way, she's talking about toes in, toes out, knees out. Everyone's body's different. You have to find what works for you to create that symmetrical look. And then a typical back pose is going to be very similar to your front pose. You're going to want to open up and show your back. Keep that booty high because we don't want any flat pancake butts. And you want to flex your legs a little bit so they can see this quad sweep and your hamstring tie in from the back. A couple things that I see a lot of figure girls do is you want to do. A lot of girls want to hold the baby or the box or this kind of thing whenever you're posing. The farther you hold your arms out because you think it's making you look bigger, it actually takes a lot away from your physique. So if I pose like here, you can see that my shoulders are round. But if I try to raise my arms up and look really big, it flattens my shoulders out. So many girls want to try to feel big on stage, but it really looks so much prettier. The judges see a nice symmetrical form if you just open up and let your arms hang there. Your lats should be what's moving and not your elbows and arms. Does that help a little bit? Side posing in the mandatory poses when you're in the lineup with the girls, you're just going to want to turn your shoulder. Again, you're wanting to show the symmetry of an X frame. Your upper, your middle, and your lower. And you just stand here. None of this, none of that. You just stand very relaxed. Actually, the side pose is it's one of the easiest poses. And so many people will put so much thought into it because I need to flex my arm, I need to do these certain things. They're not looking for a big bicep curl going on, so you just want to stand, turn your collarbone, and just let your arms hang nicely. Look straight up. Okay, you're welcome. Strong, they're not that strong as everyone thinks. I remind everyone it's bodybuilding, not strong. But there's a lot of things that work great for my shoulders. I like to do some side lateral drop sets. I do believe in a lot of front delt work because it really helps this look really nice and full. But your side laterals, your front raises, your rear delts, you want to make sure you're hitting them from all different angles. Obviously, you're going to do barbell press, dumbbell press, but you got to change up the angles as well. And you want to make sure you're not using your traps. So many girls want to do traps and stuff. Someone with traps, it takes away from your shoulders and those pretty lines of the femininity that you're going to get on stage in figure and bikini as well. So you want to make sure your traps don't engage. So if you're doing front raises and your traps are engaging, maybe try laying on an incline bench to where you can't use your back at all and you can only drop the weight, do a lighter weight. It's not all about how much weight you can lift and letting the guy next to you see how great and strong you are. Training, powerlifting, to coming back into the field. And really, she's wondering how she could change her mentality ever. You just have to start thinking about, it's all about what I look like. I could try to go for strength measures every week if I wanted to and try to, PR all the time. But I know that's going to mess up what I'm trying to do on the stage. So many girls will say, maybe your legs are overpowering your body. And your coach says, all right, no legs for a while. But you're like, but I love doing legs. Well, if you love doing legs, that's amazing. That's awesome. Go do legs. But don't get upset when you go get on the NPC stage and your legs are too big and your body doesn't have that symmetry. It's just one or the other. Do you want to do what the NPC wants because you want to be a competitor? Or do you want to do what you want to do just because you want to do it? It's fine either way. There's no wrong answer. But you just need to, if you want to be a competitor, you need to do what it takes to be a competitor. You see them out there and they still have definition and lines and they're still shredded in the real world, not for stage. But they're not as far off as they used to do, old school thinking that you had to be bulked up, 20, 30 pounds for a female to gain any muscle. You do need a little bit to gain that muscle, but you don't need as much as people want to think you do. They just use that as a can you get before you start getting deducted. You're not getting deducted. They don't have like a point system when they judge. They have a placing system. So you're not really getting deducted, but maybe you get up there and you're just too hard. You've got all this vascularity, your skin got too thin. You know, everyone's body's going to be different and hold a different level of body fat, and it's going to look different. But you want to have a nice fullness and roundness in all your muscles, but you don't want to have striations everywhere and all this vascularity in your body. So it just depends on where your body all of a sudden gets that point where it looks like. You know, you drive a little the day before the show, and you want to still have that nice fullness. You want to have a thin layer of body fat, actually, so it makes everything look nice and tight and symmetrical. You've got the fullness of your muscle bellies, and you look, but you still look shapely. You don't look harsh and sunken in and drawn. You know, you don't want to be like ripped, shredded, you know, like that. Some girls are like, well, I want to get legs. Okay, that's great, but don't be upset when you don't place things. Don't not practice posing. Posing is epic. You work so hard in the gym, you work so hard on nutrition, but then you're not going to work really hard on presenting what you work so hard on. You want to make sure that suit is cut perfectly for your body, and you want to make sure that you have practiced your posing so you can show what looks best for your body on that stage. And so many people don't do that. They're like, well, I just didn't have time to practice posing. Well, why not? You had time to do everything else, you know. But another thing would be suit. Like, don't just get any suit because you think it's an awesome suit and it looked great on this girl and she's selling her suit. Don't do that. You spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a cool pair of jeans or a purse. Let's spend that on a suit because you can wear that suit all year long. Whereas I wore a suit for 8 shows, the same suit because it worked. Why change it? They don't care. They don't go, well, she had a pink suit on last time and she's wearing this suit. They don't care. It works, and it showed my body the way I needed it best to do. So one of the worst things a bikini or a figure girl could do, women's physique as well, is get a suit that doesn't fit your body. That's probably the number one. You can't low stage ready 24/7, 365 days a year. It's not healthy for your body. That's why I say 5 to 7 pounds. That little bit of weight, though, makes us look at ourselves just a little bit different. I sign all my emails, and there's a picture of me on stage that comes up in that. And every time I see that, I'm like, oh, am I ever going to get back there? But I've got tanner on, you've got glaze on, you've got all these things, you know, I cut my water a little bit. Like, there's all these different things that went into